And just stand with intention. Spread your toes out and root down through the soles of your feet. Rock a little bit forward and back, and feel the texture of the mat underneath you and how your weight's being distributed. Your arms can just relax at your sides, shoulders stacking over the hips, tailbone dropping down, low belly firming. And with the eyes closed, just starting to take a couple really mindful breaths right here, right now. Breathing in through your nose. Feeling the temperature of that air as it touches the nostrils. Exhaling through nose or mouth with that out breath, releasing any tension from your shoulders, your jaw, your mind. Taking another breath. Feel the breath pour into the belly, fill into the side ribs, lift up into your chest, your heart space. And then just letting it go. From here, you can bring your palms together in front of your heart. Anjali Mudra, soft bow, chin dropping towards the chest. Our practice this morning is a practice for the new moon, some moon salutations versus sun salutations. So they're a little more lunar, very grounding this season as our new moon is in Taurus. And Taurus asks us to kind of come home to ourselves, come home to our home, which is appropriate as well. So finding a sanctuary within and also within the shelter that you call home right now, where we are all spending more time than usual. So make it sacred, make it special, make it comfortable, and find a way to be at peace wherever you are. Maybe there's an affirmation that comes to mind, or a single word. From your palms that are touching at your heart, lift them high up over your head, stretching upwards, lifting through your side ribs, feeling how your feet press down into the earth to help you get a little more height and length. You can cross your thumbs to keep your palms glued together if that helps. Lifting up through the sides of the arms, the triceps. And then begin to lean over to the right side of your mat. If it helps to interlace your hands here so they stay together, you can do that. You can let the index finger extend. Really root it down through your feet. Gravity is your friend here. So press into the legs. Feel the stretch in the left side waist, lifting the lowest left rib up away from the hip point as you carve yourself into this crescent shape. If you go too far, you will literally not be able to breathe. So find that space where you can still welcome breath. And then come all the way back up to stand, recenter, stretching vertically, lifting through the side ribs, pressing through the feet, and then leaning over to your left side. So crescent moon over to the left, lifting through the right side waist, really stamping the right foot into the floor, feeling the weight of both feet. Maybe letting your hips shift to the right slightly and try to square off your chest and your hips to the front of your space. Lift your chin away from your chest a little bit. Come all the way up to center. Reestablish your center line. Lift upwards and start to clench the glutes a little bit as you let the pelvis move forward. Start to lift your sternum upwards and lean back into any amount of a back bend. And it doesn't have to be big. It's just a slight curve. Maybe you just tilt the heart upwards. Maybe you take your gaze upwards. And then bring yourself all the way up and circle the arms back down at your sides. Good. We're going to step the left foot back. Big step. So you're going to turn to the long edge of your yoga mat and parallel your feet. You can check the distance of your ankles by bringing your arms out. You kind of want the wrists to line up over the ankles here. And then from here, we're going to fold forward. So you can bring your hands out wide to hold the ankles, the feet, the big toes. You can also place your hands down onto the floor. So this one, just kind of do what resonates with you. Allow the knees to bend and just feel the length coming into your spine. Let your head go, let your neck go. This is where you might get in a nice big sigh, a nice big release with an exhale breath. Feel into all of the lengthening tissues in the backs of the legs, the muscles that line the spinal column. It's also an inversion because the head is below the heart. So just reversing the flow of the fluids in the body a little bit as well. Just take one more breath. Just kind of pushing your heels down and apart a little bit, spiraling inner thighs slightly back so you get that nice deep stretch. And then coming up halfway, a little tiny micro bend in the knees. Make sure you feel good when you stand, so take your time if you need, coming from a forward fold back up to standing position. Bring your arms up overhead again and join your palms there, cross your thumbs and lift up vertically. We're going to turn towards the left. So you're going to turn your left toes all the way to the back of your mat. You're going to let the right toes pivot in just a little bit, and you can keep the heels on a tightrope or step a little wider for a hip width distance. That's up to you. Square your hips, lift up, breathe in, and then start to lean forward into a pyramid pose. And you can keep your hands touching if you'd like, sending your fingertips out past the toes, dropping the head. If you need to bring your hands down to the floor and separate them though, know that's always an option. Start to feel a bigger stretch into the back of the left leg, behind the knee, down the calf, into the ankle. If you can maintain your balance here, you might close your eyes, draw energy up through the feet. Feeling the power in your legs, maybe letting that foundation help you to create more length in the spine. Letting the heart slide forward just a little bit more, pulling the outer left hip back. Take one more breath here. Really anchoring down through the feet, coming up nice and slow, so there's no rush. Just try to come out of it in the same way that you came in. Turning your left toes to the long edge of your mat, and then your right toes to the long edge of your mat. Prepare for the other side. Right toes turn out to the front of your space. Pivot on the back toes, again, heel to heel or hip width distance in stance laterally. Lift up, square the hips, pull pelvic floor up too, so you're creating this lift inwardly, and then start to lean slowly out over that right leg. Hands can stay together or hands come apart. Fingertips landing if the palms are touching past the toes, creating some length through your front body, dragging outer right hip back and breathing here. Notice how you're using the feet. Always checking in with your roots, with your foundation, pressing into the four corners, trying not to over grip in those toe knuckles. Breathe into the sensations that you're noticing in your body. And then like before, trying to come all the way up nice and steady and controlled, all the way up to neutral. And then lowering the arms at the sides. Soften your front knee so you can step forward to the top of your mat. Taking Utkatasana, so bending the knees, reaching the arms up for chair pose. Stretching out through the fingertips. Anchor the tailbone down and firm the low belly in as you stretch out through the hands. Soft gaze. Take an inhale. And then forward fold, exhale. Come down over the legs. Uttanasana, forward fold. So a little bend in the knees is needed. Come up halfway. Create a nice long spine. And then step your right foot back. As your right foot steps back, landing on the ball mounds of the toes. We're coming all the way up for crescent. So front knee over the ankle, reach the arms up overhead, and maybe bring your palms to touch. Anchor down through that front foot, through that left heel. Press your right hip forward. And then to create that crescent shape, it's the shape from the fingertips to the back heel. You might start to lift your heart and lean back a little bit. Take 2 breaths here. Breathe in. Breathe out. Full breath in. Full breath out. Right yourself up, look forward, lower the hands down to the mat. Step your back foot forward. Right foot will meet the left foot. Come up halfway, create that length in your spine. Pull the heart forward. Exhale and fold into your legs. Let your head and your neck go. And then stepping your left foot back. Right foot is underneath the right knee. Coming up for crescent. Arms go up overhead. Reach out through the fingertips. Maybe bring your palms to touch. Notice any differences from the front of the right hip to the front of the left. Firm down through the right heel to give you a good foundation. Be on the back toes. Lift your chest and start to create that crescent shape from your fingertips to your back heel. 2 breaths here. Breathe in. Breathe out. Full breath in. Gathering in energy. Exhale. And then right yourself up, look forward, lower the hands down, and this time step into a down dog. So right foot slides back and meets the left foot. In your first down dog, go ahead and pedal out your legs a little bit, shake out your head. Notice how your body and your mind, your energy feels in this moment. Taurus is all about feeling. It rules the 5 senses. So Taurus loves to just really dive into the senses of touch, smell, hearing, eating, the pleasure of enjoying the senses. So enjoy what you're feeling on your mat this morning. From here, you can come onto your toes and just let your knees come slowly down to the floor. Lift your chest like you're doing cow pose, so heart lifts up. And then on the exhale, we're just going to bring the chest down between the thumbs into a pose called knees, chest, and chin. So your sits bones stay up, your elbows are hugging in. Feels like you're trying to drag your palms backwards towards your knees. Take another breath here in this back bend. And then start to slide out onto your belly. So as you slide out, you can let your hips nestle down into the earth. Flip your feet, toes pointed. Press the shoelace side of your feet down and just press into the earth a little bit, creating a little lift for your chest, toning the back body, opening the front. Bringing the breath in deep and then releasing back down. Tuck the toes and coil back into your down dog. So you can use the knees and just move your hips back to your heels and lift back up into that inverted V shape. Hips high, heels down low. And then reach your left leg up towards the ceiling. Point the toes. And keep lifting while working on keeping your hips level. So you're thinking about from the crown of your head through your left big toe, the same long line of energy. Maybe roll that outer left hip down just a little bit. Take one more breath here, reaching back and up through those left toes. And then left foot down next to right foot. Switching sides. Take your right leg and lift it up and point the toes. Take a moment to feel into the hips, square them off. Press actively through those hands. Stretch back through the big toe, feeling that one long line of energy from the crown of your head all the way up through that right foot. Take another breath here in. And bring your right foot down next to your left foot. Come onto your tippy toes and bend the knees, look forward, stepping or jumping to the top of your mat. As you get here, we're going to go into toe stand. So you're going to lift up your heels, drop your bottom to your heels, and then see what happens here. If you have long arms, you'll be able to touch the floor while you sit up tall. My arms aren't quite there, but I know some of you might be able to. Arms alongside the body. Try to bring your spine upright. So toe balance pose, knees are squeezing in. And if it's available, bring your arms all the way up overhead. Bring your palms to touch, your thumbs to cross. And so squeezing your thighs and pushing your toes down, we're going to slowly attempt to come all the way to standing on our toes. So you're going to slowly push down into the toes and start to bring yourself all the way up until you arrive standing top of the mat on your tiptoes. And then the heels drop down and the arms can come to the sides. And then close your eyes and just take a nice roll of your head to the right and to the left. And feel into those neck muscles, areas you might be holding some added tension. Good. All right, so we're going to move through that again. We're moving through that 3 times, so that's our full complete moon salutation. But the 3rd time, we're going to be adding on a few different challenge poses for you. So find center. Bring your hands to your heart. Remember what you're dedicating your practice to. Or maybe you're planting seeds in the new moon. Some clear intentions. Palms at the heart and then rising up overhead. Crossing the thumbs if that's helpful to you. Lift up vertically, press into the feet. The gravity is your friend here, so feel the earth under your feet and ground. And then start to lean to the left. Breathing into your left side waist. Use your right hand against your left, maybe if you have that 10-finger grip, to pull the left arm up and over. Maybe your hips shift a little bit towards the left side of your space. And remember, if you went too far, it'll be very challenging to breathe. So notice this next breath you take. In. Out. Good. Come all the way back up. Find center. Lift vertically. Come down to the left. Root through both feet evenly. Shifting your hips a little bit to the right, chin away from the chest. Squaring your chest, your shoulders, your hips. Using your left hand on your right. Take a smooth, long breath in. And all the way out. Return up to standing, reach the arms overhead. And then lower the arms to the sides. I'm sorry, bring the arms back up. We forgot our back bend. So arms go back up. Regrip your hands, index fingers lifting. And then clench the glutes a little bit. Press your hips forward. Start to tilt your chest up. Doesn't have to be huge. Drop your tailbone down, firm your belly in. Maybe start adjusting your gaze up. And if you're comfortable, head can drop back. And then bring yourself all the way back up. And then we can release the arms at the sides. Good. This time, let's step the right foot back first. So right foot steps back. Turn your toes towards the long edge of your mat and double check that your feet are parallel. Reach the arms up overhead, big stretch upwards. And then as you exhale, swan dive out and grab a hold of ankles or big toes. If you want to change the hand position, you can. Palms can come to the floor or even start to walk through. Our third time through this, I'll give you the chance to go upside down if you wish. For now, shift some weight into the ball mounds of the toes. Feel the inner arches of your feet pull away from the floor a little bit. So you activate the bandhas in the feet. If you're holding on around the neck or the jaw, let it go. If you're holding on to any thoughts or thinking, let it go. And let's just really enjoy one last breath wherever you are. Fill up and empty out. And start to walk your hands forward. You crawl your fingertips out, coming up halfway, making sure you feel good as you press down, come all the way up to standing. So rise all the way up. Reach your arms again overhead and let your palms touch. Turn your right toes to the back of your mat and then pivot on the left toes so that they also turn towards the back of your mat. Feet, again, hip width or on a tight rope. Square hips, lift chest, lift low belly, and then leaning forward, maybe keeping those arms together as you bow in to your pyramid pose. Try to take it down to the floor nice and steady. Don't crash. Drop the head, bring the forehead towards the knee, and try to rotate that left hip forward. Pull your outer right hip back. And then take some smooth, even breaths here. Maybe already noticing some differences from the last time you were folding over the right leg in this way to now. Can you breathe all the way into your upper back, back ribs and belly? And anchor through that back foot. Push down into the feet and try your best to come out slowly all the way up to stand. And then pivot on the toes. Right toes turn in, left toes turn out. Adjust your stance as needed. Lift your chest, lift your low belly, stretch up, and then leaning over the front leg, bowing over the left leg, fingertips landing out or onto the floor. Tuck your chin towards your chest, forehead towards the knee. Make any adjustments in that back foot as needed. Try to activate the arches, soften into the toes, soften into the jaw. Hug towards midline. Enjoy one last breath here. And then pressing into your feet. Again, start to rise slowly all the way up to stand. Once you reach the top, you can lower the arms, step the back foot forward, be at the top of your mat. Bring your feet together. Bend the knees for chair. Utkatasana, so sweeping the arms up. Squeeze the thighs in, stretch out through the fingertips. Try to relax your shoulder blades down the back. Feel the front ribs knit in. Squeeze the thighs more. Let's take one last breath here. And then exhale, forward fold over your legs. Let your heavy head drop down. Plant the palms on either side of the feet. Dropping down into that deep fold, stretching out the whole back body. Then come up halfway. Inhale, lengthen the spine. With this exhale, left foot steps back, big lunge. Check the ear on the ball mound to the back toes, front knee over the ankle. Come up for crescent. Press the left hip forward. Lift the arms, maybe the palms touch. Ground through that right heel, lift up and lean back, creating that crescent shape, fingertips to the back heel. 2 breaths here, breathe in. Out. In. And out. Take your arms back up, look forward. Lower the hands back down to the floor. Step your back foot to the top. Halfway lift, inhale, create length in your spine. And fold into your legs, breathing out. That's stepping the right foot back. Land on the ball mound of the toes, heel under the ankle. Come up for crescent. Arms up overhead, root through that front heel, lift vertically first, zip up through the belly, and then bathing back into whatever back bend serves you. 2 breaths. Bring yourself up, look forward, drop the hands down. This time, step into a down dog. And finding your way back and just checking in. Maybe close your eyes. Feel the mat beneath your palms, your feet. How can you use your hands right now to create more length in the spine? Relaxing muscles in the jaw, the face. Take your right leg up. And this time bend the knee, open up the hip. So you're letting the right heel fall to the left. You're lifting the inner right knee up towards the sky. Maybe moving your left heel down a little more heavily towards the earth as you wrap your outer left hip back. Pull the right heel closer to the hips. And right foot next to left. Switch sides. Take your left leg up. Bend the knee, open the hip. Push through the palms. Ground through that right heel. And then releasing left foot next to the right foot. Come into plank pose. And this time, it's up to you. You can do that knees, chest, and chin action again. Or if you want to take a chaturanga, go for it. Dropping down halfway and then taking a full back bend into upward dog. So your call. Take an extra breath here. And then make your way back into your downward facing dogs. Rise into your tippy toes and gaze forward. Stepping, hopping, jumping. Top of your mat. Come up halfway, bring your feet to touch. Lift your heels, bend your knees, sit down onto your heels in a toe balance. Maybe climb the hands up the thighs. Try to bring your thighs parallel to the floor. Squeeze your thighs in. And then you can take your arms up overhead. So you can balance here. Make your breath really deep and full. Ujjayi breath will help. And squeezing your thighs in, slowly coming up to your toes. All the way up to your toes, standing pose on your tippy toes. So rise, 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 rise. See if you can balance there for a moment. And then drop the heels and drop the arms. Roll the shoulders back, whip them around. Take a neck roll to the right and to the left. So final round with some variations. Hands to the heart. Close the eyes, soft bow in. So to your higher self or the universe or to whatever you dedicate your practice to, asking that you're grounded, that you find a space within yourself that you can come home to. And in the physical realm, that the space that you call home can be as homey and comfortable as possible, as welcoming as possible during this Taurus season. And again, any seeds that you'd like to plant during this fertile time. And then blink the eyes open and reach the arms up overhead. As your palms touch there, again, cross the thumbs if you'd like, interlace all 10, index fingers can release. Zip up, get tall in the spine and lean to the right. Final side bend here, maybe testing out your edge a bit. Chin away from chest, it's always a reminder I need. Square the shoulders, square the hips. Come all the way up with an in-breath, get tall. And come down to the left. Square the chest, lift the chin, press into both feet evenly. Sink into that side bend, breathe in. And out. And come all the way up. Big stretch upwards. And leaning back. So start to press your hips forward, tone the glutes. Maybe you drop your head back. And then bring yourself all the way up. Now drop the arms at the sides. And we'll step the left foot back. So big step. Turn to the long edge of your mat. Check your stance. And then with your hands on your hips this time, let's just lift the heart up. Big breath in. And lean forward, dropping the hands down to the floor as you arrive. So this time, you can do a number of things. You could join your hands behind your back for a shoulder opener. You can hold your feet. Place the hands on the ground. If you wanted to take it upside down at this time, this would be your chance to invert. So if you want to push into the palms and slowly start to glide those legs all the way up, go for it. And if you're upside down, slowly feet wide. And dropping gently back to the floor. Come up halfway first. Take a breath there. You always want to make sure you transition to standing nice and gently. And then come up to stand. Reach the arms up overhead. Lifting vertically. Turning your left toes out and turning the right toes in. Preparing for that pyramid pose. Maybe you keep your palms together as you lean forward, bringing the fingertips towards the top of your space and bringing your head down in between the arms. Feel free to have your feet on the floor. I'm sorry, yes, you should have your feet on the floor. Feel free to have your hands on the floor separated if you need to. Chin pulls towards the chest. Internally rotate your back thigh, so your inner right thigh peeling back. Release the grip on your toes. And this is where we're going to do something a little different. If your hands are touching, separate them to either side of your front foot. And then come up halfway to lengthen. Option 1, right hand stays under right shoulder for the twist into revolve triangle. Option 2, right hand to the outside of the left foot. And if you have a block or a bolster or something that you want to bring underneath that right palm, it can be helpful. You'll start to turn your torso towards the left, Maybe the left hand stays at the sacrum to keep those hips nice and level. Maybe you take the left arm to the sky. Parivrita Trikonasana. Feeling your right ribs rotating under, the left ribs pulling back. Pour your left shoulder over your right shoulder. Hug your inner thighs to midline. From here, bringing your left hand down to the floor, a little bit forward of your left toes, shift your weight into your left foot, bring your right hand to your right hip, and begin to balance into a half moon. So right foot flexes, lifting the right leg parallel to the floor, maybe sending the right arm to the sky. Internally rotating through the right leg, stretch out through the top hand. And if you feel like you can maintain the balance, or maybe even if you don't, for a brave moment, start to gaze up at the top fingers. Lowering your right hand down, stepping your right foot back. Let it land to near where it landed when you were in pyramid. Bring the palms together and rise all the way up. So coming back up through center, and then just turning on your feet. So you're turning now to face the front of your space. Right toes forward, left toes pivot in. Find your stance, lift up, breathe in, and then lean forward and fold. Fingertips landing, sliding forward, forehead towards the knee, inner spiraling that left inner thigh. Breathing here in pyramid pose, opposite side. Unclenching the jaw, soften the neck. And empty out your breath here. And then slide your hands to frame the front foot. Come up halfway and lengthen. And then either left hand under left shoulder or left hand outside of right foot. Again, using a prop if you need. Right hand to sacrum, helping the hips to stay level as you rotate your chest to the right. And then maybe reaching your right arm to the sky. Hug inner thighs to midline, maybe gaze up. Tap into the power in your legs right now. Press into those feet. Lift the kneecaps, tone your quadriceps, rotate your left ribs under, peel your right ribs back. Slowly bringing the right hand down and forward of your right toes. Lean into your right foot. Bring your left leg up and start to roll open to balance in half moon. Flex the left toes, internally rotate the left thigh, stretch the top arm to the sky. Maybe gaze up. Left hand circles down. Take your left foot back to where it came from in pyramid, and then take your right foot back into downward dog. Pressing into the palms, stretching the hips up and back. Take your left leg to the sky, bend the knee again, open up the hip. And here it's up to you. If you'd like to stay, you can, or you can roll to the outer edge of your right foot. Bring your left toes to land softly behind you, and maybe travel into a little bit of a back bend. Wild thing. Push actively through that right palm. Good. Gaze down. Bring your left hand to the floor. Reach your left leg back up to the sky. Step your left foot between your thumbs. We're coming into that crescent. Stay on back toes and come all the way up. Join your hands, lift up vertically, and then taking that crescent shape. Leaning back, lifting the heart. Bring yourself back to neutral. Sweep open for a warrior two. Arms wide and reverse it. Right hand down the back leg, side bend. Good. Cartwheel your hands down. Step back into plank pose. And you can do knees, chest, chin, or lower chaturanga. Back in your down dogs. Take your right leg and lift it up. Opening the hip. Stay here or flip it. Bring it back around, taking your right leg up to the sky. Inhale. And step through, finding crescent lunge. Stay on your back toes, root through that front heel, and rise. Zip up through the belly, lift your heart, bathe back. Come up to neutral, look forward, sweep open, warrior two. Settle into the front knee and reverse it. Reaching your right arm up to the sky, stretch back, gaze up. Cartwheel your hands down and step back, vinyasa. And so back in your down dogs, take a breath or two. And then take your right shin forward and land it behind your wrists. Dropping the back knee, start to walk your left leg as far back as you can get it. And then come up onto your fingertips so that your chest is lifted. Take a few breaths here. If it's comfortable, you can even bring your hands up to your shin, your foot, your knee, or framing your hips. Sometimes it's even nice to grab your yoga mat either side of your hips to help you find that lift. Keep pressing your left hip forward, driving the right hip back, active in the outer right foot. And then when you're ready to, folding forward, using props if you'd like to. You can take your arms all the way out, forehead down. Just rest here for a few breaths. Breathe into that outer right hip. And claw your hands back in. Just lifting yourselves all the way back up. Tuck your left toes under and step back down dog. If you want to shake the leg out a little bit, any kind of movements are welcome. Take your left leg up high, breathe in. And then sweep your left shin behind your wrists. Drop your back knee, start to crawl. Right leg back, 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 as far as it'll go. When you reach that edge, come onto fingertips. And usually one side feels a little different than the other. One side a little bit tighter. This is my tighter side. So just listen to your body. Maybe you don't walk your hands as far back. Trying to open up your chest like proud pigeon pose, lifting your heart away from the front shin. Working that right hip forward. And then as you're ready, you can start to fold forward onto a support or all the way to the floor. This time as you walk your hands in, rather than stepping back to a down dog, lean into your left hip, bring your back leg around, and stack your right shin on top of your left. So we've opened up the hips a bit, and now we're going a little deeper into double pigeon pose. A double pigeon, ankle to knee pose. If you needed to modify this, if you had a blanket or a pillow, you could put your right ankle in front of your left knee on that support instead of on top of the knee. So just make any adjustments that you need. Flex your feet, lift the chest, take an inhale. And then with your exhale, you can again start to lean forward. Don't have to fold all the way down. Just kind of listen to your body, find an edge. Make sure it feels good and right in your body. Enjoy it. Find a way to really enjoy what you experience on your mat. Like these little moments, these little nuggets of gold where we feel relaxed or like we're really tapping into areas in the body where there might have been tension or stagnance. We need to kind of flush through. That can be very intense, but also enjoyable. So start to step into that a little bit. And walk your hands back in, and we'll just switch sides. So as you come up, we'll cross your left shin on top of your right, modifying as needed. Always good to scoot your sits bones back a little bit when you start, so it prepares you for that forward tilt in the pelvis. Flex your feet, and then when you're ready, start to fold over your crossed legs or stacked shins. If you're not holding on to anything, and if you can, flip your palms up. It is a gesture of surrender that can translate beyond just the physical and allow you to maybe release any lingering held tension in the hips, in the body, in the mind. And then start to walk your hands back in. As you come up to sit, you can just release your legs so the feet come to the floor. They're about hip width distance on the mat. Take your hands back behind you and let your knees drop right and left a few times, just massaging out the glutes. The next time that your knees drop to the left, pause and sit and rearrange your legs so now you have 90-degree angles in both legs. So left thigh and left shin, 90 degrees. Right thigh comes out from the right hip, right shin, 90 degrees at the knee joint. And then feet are also flexed to 90, so feet are active. Outer edge of left foot, inner edge of right foot. Take a nice big breath in here, and then you're going to exhale and you're going to sweep your hands behind you towards the back of the mat. Just set your fingertips down there. Inhale like you're trying to pull your chest towards the back of your space. So kind of a little twist and lift of your heart. And when you exhale, walk your hands even further to the left as you descend, dropping both elbows down. Try to keep the inner right knee, shin, and ankle anchored to where they are in space. Let your head relax. If you wanted to walk your right hand out straight, kind of crawl it towards the back of your space more and more, maybe able to sink a little deeper into the shape. Breathing into that right side body, breathing into the spine, lower right back, QL muscles, kidneys. And then start to walk your hands back in. Push into your palms. Walk your hands to the right. Let your feet just come up. And if it works the way I'm thinking it should, as you drop your knees the other way, they should kind of land pretty much in the right place. Adjust as needed. And then fingertips to the right. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, keep walking your hands to the right and start to lower down to your elbows. Anchor the inner left knee, shin, and ankle. Maybe walk your left arm a little further out. Breathe here. Rolling the left sideways to lower, dropping it down as you rotate the chest. And then slowly pad your palms back in. Bring yourself back to neutral. Soles of the feet touch. And sit up tall into your sits bones. Bring the heels in. Press the outer edges of your feet together. Lift your chest. Exhale, fold forward. Baddha Konasana. You can press your knees down to the floor with the help of the elbows. So if you push your forearms and elbows down into the inner calves or shins, you might get the knees a little bit lower. Smooth out the flow of your breath. Take one more full inhale. And let it go. And lift yourselves all the way back up. You can help the knees to come back together and make your way all the way to your back body. So you're going to come all the way down onto your backs. When you arrive, put your feet hip-width distance. Feel that they are pretty much parallel, maybe pigeon-toed a little bit. Maybe touch the heels with your fingertips. That's how close the feet are to the hips. And then press down into your palms, curl your pelvis under. So tuck the tailbone and start to lift your chest towards your chin as your hips elevate, maybe clasping the hands behind your back. Working your shoulder blades closer and closer together. Press actively through the bottoms of your feet. So your heels, big toe joints, and pinky toe joints are really grounding into the mat right now. The legs are turning on, inner thighs hugging in and rolling down. Chest is open. Enjoy the breath. Two more breaths. And then very slowly lower to the floor. Just let your knees knock in for a moment and relax the arms at the sides. Close the eyes. Feel the effects of bridge pose on your body, on your breath, on your energy. So we'll do one more back bend. It can be bridge like you just did, or if you wanted to go into a full wheel pose, you could always press all the way up into that deep back bend. Full wheelers, your hands will frame your head instead of your hips. So 5 breaths, bridge or full wheel pose. Go ahead and set up and let's go for it. So pelvis tucks under, lift the hips up. Knees are stacked over the heels, bridgers. If you're going for a wheel, hands come to frame your head. Lift your head off the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming all the way down. Again, just let your knees knock in and feel the effects. Your breath just flow, feeling any tingling sensations or energy coursing through you. And then bring your arms out to a T or cactus if you'd like. And just drop your knees right and left a few times, just a nice way to loosen up the low back after those back bends. The next time that your knees fall to the right, you can pause there. Maybe even hooking the right ankle outside the left thigh. And then unhook the ankle from the thigh. If you took that variation, bring the knees up, drop them to the left. Pause here or hook ankle outside thigh. And then unhook ankle, bring the foot to the floor, bring the knees back up to neutral, and settle into your last pose of Shavasana. So take a moment to get comfortable. If you have any pillows or blankets, you can put underneath your knees. Or if you feel like you might get a little bit cold, you can grab a blanket and pull it up over your body, lying down, and just making sure you get really comfortable and at ease here so that you can really absorb all the benefits of this practice this morning. Don't want anything to be pulling your attention away from just resting and letting go here. So as you come into the shape that feels best to your body, scan and ask yourself if it would be possible to get just 10% more comfortable. If it is, make those little adjustments. They matter. And then as you feel like you're comfortable, then committing to stillness. So avoiding little fidgets and little adjustments. Close the eyes and keep them closed. And just allow the breath to flow. Noticing your next breath. Take a nice big inhale, filling up. Releasing it out. Begin to wiggle your fingertips and your toe tips. Maybe let your head roll side to side on your mat, back and forth. And start to walk your feet in. Pull the knees towards your chest. Pull the knees in and stretch out your back. And then just roll down onto your side body. Pressing into your palms, lifting up to find a comfortable seat to close your practice, and bring your palms together again at the heart, chin towards the chest, bowing inward, trusting the seeds that have been planted through this practice will continue to grow and develop. Take time to kind of just be lazy today. It's sort of the theme of this new moon, this Taurus moon, is about just kind of relaxing, moving slowly, being mindful, going inward. So if you feel like it's kind of against what your feeling is to move fast and vigorous and get a lot of things done, it's because of the energy of the new moon right now. And so tune into that and honor that. Listen to your body. I'd like to thank you for being here with me, and I hope to see you on a Zoom soon. Namaste.